means I love you. Welcome to the Nyumba Upendo Show, the House of Love on WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Alisia Moutry.
Hey, good morning, Milwaukee. It's a little gloomy outside, but I'm going to tell you what, the sun is shining in here with these beautiful smiles.
Hey, what can we say? What can we say? We know we can't start our show without our double P's.
We can.
Everybody say, what's those P's? Well, the first P is permission. As in the tradition of our elders, we must get permission from the elders to speak. So I've gotten that permission from my mother, and she's also given us that second P, that prayer. And what she said was, I thought was probably like the most precious thing to me, because as I told you, my mom hadn't been feeling good, been asking the community to pray for her, but she was just talking about some of her friends and people who she knows. She said, I just know a lot of people have been losing their mothers. And she said, I want to say, Lord, I want to say a special prayer for everybody who's recently lost it, just lost their mom before and just still feel that void and that loss. And so that special prayer she sent out. So for everybody who has just lost a mother or has lost a mother and is still not quite the same, just know that we're putting extra prayers out for you on this day.
Yeah, I love that.
And as I have the beautiful ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated in the studio, I proudly wear my sweater of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, but I want to dedicate my show to a young man who was trying to enter this fraternity, and because of things that go against our fraternity grain, was not only allowed not to enter, but his life was taken prematurely. And it still hurts my heart for young Caleb Wilson, for his father, for his mother. And I was listening to somebody, and they say not only did they kill him, but they killed his children. They killed his dreams. They killed his possible inventions as an engineer. And so when we talk about all of the things that we do as an organization, and a lot of our organizations have gone through, unfortunately, something like this, and people say, well, what's even the use of these things? Why you got to get beat for somebody to love you? And I said, it's not even about that. So I am glad that I have this great sorority, these great ladies of our community to show really what these organizations are about. So Dr. Moutry, I'm gonna let you kick it off, because we had them on last year, so you kind of know. And I love when you got things that are just an annual thing. So you know this is not a one and done, but we here for you all the time.
Yeah, if you can see, I'm just rubbing my knees. I got some powerhouses in the place today, boy. I tell you what, I'm so excited. You know, we just kind of came off of an amazing Founders Day, February 1, and you know, that was so amazing. You kind of go, but guess what? We're not finished. We still have lots and lots of work.
Day of action.
You talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
That.
It can't. It's not a one and done. This is a lifelong commitment. It's an ongoing work, right? And so today, I'm gonna introduce them. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I want to just talk about them independently. I always have to start with my Madam President. Madam President, Soror SHARON Williams. Good morning and welcome back to WNOV.
Good morning. Thanks for having us this morning.
Yes, definitely so much. And then when I talk about that sun shining in the room, it's this smile. If you ever see the smile of Soror GINA Green Harris, it is a contagious smile, and just her smile makes you smile. You got it right. So good morning to you and welcome to WNOV as well.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, like so it's almost a year ago today that we had you here before. And I want you to, just for those that don't know, you were here before, but now you're back again. Why are you back again? You wanted to come out and talk about something. What's going on now? We got action to do. What's happening now? Tell me what's going on.
Okay, so I can start, and I'm going to start by saying that GINA Green Harris and Dr. Joni Williams are actually the co-chairs for physical and mental health. So we are back today because we will be having our annual Women's Day, but it's a little bit different because there's been a spin on it last year, and it's actually intergenerational community Women's Day. And so I'm going to let GINA take it from here. So she's been planning for that, so she can explain what's going to be going on that date. But it's actually going to be on Saturday, March 29th at Epicos Church, 3737 North Sherman Boulevard. And it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But you want to get there at 8:30 to register and to get your continental breakfast. And there's a special treat this year with the food that we'll be having.
I love a special treat.
Yes, and it's also free.
Oh,
Everything is
It is
free.
at
we
no
love
cost.
that word.
Yes, it's free.
Yes. So thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dr. Moutry. It is so awesome. And my dear brother to my right, that is just like a pillar over there.
Yes,
Thank you
indeed.
so much. And yes, we are actually hosting our annual Women's Day program. This year it is called Working on Wellness. And we're focused on women and girls mental health empowerment. And we know that by now we are all working on our mental health. And it is so in this season and where we are, it is so important to recognize that we need to take time and be well and be intentional about it. And so this is, as Madam President said, an intergenerational community day. We're going to follow suit from what the community told us last year. And we are asking women to show up again. We're going to do our paint and sip again. But this year, we're also going to have the hand massage touch again. And we're going to have, excuse me, breast cancer screening this year. We're going to do memory screenings. We're doing what the community asked us to do. So when you talk about action, we are actually taking the initiative to make sure our women in our community are well. And so we're excited, 9 to 4. We're looking to, last year we had almost 200 people in the room.
Yes.
We're asking the same again. It's at no cost to you. We're going to give you breakfast. We're going to give you lunch. And we're just super excited that you would want to join us at this event.
I love that. So you talk about from 9 to 4. If I have something to do and I can't make it there to 11, should I just stay home, or how does that work?
No. People rolled in the event last year at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 10:30. It starts, but you can come in where you fit in. We
Okay.
want you there.
Sounds good. And sometimes they always talk about parking and food being a barrier. Do I have to worry about food? Do I have to worry about parking? Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So yeah, we will be serving a continental breakfast at the beginning of the program, and then we will also have lunch. But there's also parking that is free,
Yeah.
no
Nice.
charge, and
Okay.
that's going to be over. They have a parking lot at Epicos.
Yes,
Right
that's going to be
across
safe
yes.
over there. You're on
Yes.
Sherman, but
That's
you
right.
parked in and locked in, so we
Okay.
good for you.
So there is parking. So don't let that hold you back. But one thing that Soror GINA Green did state was the fact that people can come in at any given time, because we want to meet the community where they are.
Right.
We don't want to say be locked into certain hours, but we want to meet the community where they are. And another thing was about the surveys. I can't say enough. Surveys are important because
They are.
surveys changed how we're doing this
I
year.
love that.
We listen to the community and we're meeting the needs of the community.
So, well, I want you to go with that 2 ways. Tell me what the survey said. They said, hey, you did this. Please do this again. We love this. But then say the other things where you say, hey, this was good, but maybe we can add A and B or remove that.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And yes, so last year we did a community talkback session over lunch. And we asked specifically, what is it that you would like to see Delta Sigma Theta do in Milwaukee? And number one, they said they'd love to see more of these types of programs for the women. We had specific activities, again, paint and sip. They were able to engage and mingle, but they also said they wanted to talk about mental health. They wanted to have an opportunity to share, learn, and really be in an environment where they could have this conversation about where they sit with their current mental health concerns, about themselves, about their children, about the family and the community. So hence, given our current climate, given what the community said, we are following the charge of the community and doing mental health. And we're going to have by the way, last year, if you came, we did not have a keynote, but we have a keynote speaker kicking us off.
Who's going to be the keynote? Or is that a surprise?
Yeah, it's a Soror from Delta Sigma Theta, and we're going to leave that a surprise, but come on in here, see, and see. And we're going to have workshops on mental health. That's another new piece to what we're doing. And the community loved the hand touch and the massages. So we're keeping that. We're keeping the blood pressure screening. They asked for the breast screening. We're doing that this year. And we know memory is an issue for our community. So one of our vendors said, can we do it? We're doing it. And we know we're going to serve the community.
Oh, I love that. I love that. If anyone knows me, they know that I love the youth and I love my seasoned sisters, right? That's just a passion. And not only sisters, I just love seasoned people, period, right? Why was it important to add on this component of this intergenerational component?
And we talked about this a bit last year. And the reason being to add this is because they also have something to add. We want to
Yeah.
leave our young people out sometime, but we need to get them into the fold because we can learn from them and they can learn from us. It's an exchange. So the thing that I also wanted to mention about that is there will be workshops for the youth, the young
Yes.
women. They will have
Yeah.
specific workshops.
Mhm.
So they won't sit there necessarily and hear all of our issues, but they will have their own opportunity
Yep.
to have their issues addressed and discuss what matters to them, what things are going on with them, because their challenges are not always the same as ours.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's a good opportunity for them to just get together with other young ladies and talk about what's really going on with them.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. It's not a sit and get from 9 to
Nope.
4. You're going to be engaged. You're going to be
Yes.
active. You're going to be moving. You're going to have some hands on.
Mhm.
I absolutely love that. So we had an opportunity. I had a chance to go last year. It was beautiful. I loved every bit of it. But I had a couple of favorite things. But I'm just curious, Madam President. So Regina, of last year, what were some of your favorite? Just personally, what was your favorite components of last year? That as far as this Community Women's Day.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the paint and sip. And the sip is juice.
I was gonna say, what kind of juice we talking about?
It's
What
juice.
kind of juice?
Because it's in the church, so it is
Oh,
juice.
yeah, okay.
Yes, it's that epical, so it's in it. But that part was really good. It's because that's therapy.
Yeah.
And
What,
we
what,
ha-
what did you all draw? Usually it's something that everybody draws together,
Yes,
or a painting that everybody does. You remember what
Yes.
it was?
I actually did just looked.
Okay.
I watched because I stepped in every little workshop. I went to just to get a feel to
Got
what.
some of everything.
Yeah, just to get a
Leader
feel
too.
for how people were responding to it. And so Regina Green Harris, her daughter, actually does the paint and sip.
Oh.
And it's like our therapy. Is really
Yes.
what it
You
is.
know it is.
It's our therapy. So yeah.
Yeah.
You enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right. What about you?
To answer that question
Yes.
about what they painted, she actually mirrored what we had last year, which was women and girls intergenerational. So she
Oh.
created a nice intergenerational inspiration, like sun kind of
Yeah.
Oh,
theme.
okay.
And so everyone walked away with their painting
Oh,
and
nice.
how they interpreted that.
Yeah.
So I'm not the art person in the family,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it turned out really awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the day, actually, which I have zero whatsoever rhythm, but watching people line dance at the end of the day.
You said
That's
just
that
watch.
movement.
You said
Just
watch.
watching that
Just
line
watch it.
dance,
Okay.
and we'll do that again this year. We're going to teach 3 new dances and
Okay.
have people line dancing their way out of the end of the sessions. But it's like that was the culmination, if you will,
Yes.
of watching all the women and the kids and the teens, because it's 9 and older, come together and do something unified.
Okay.
And just the beauty of watching them learn together, oh, it just blew my mind.
Yeah,
It was
and
awesome.
yeah.
Dr. Moutry,
Oh,
you
go
don't
ahead.
get off the hook.
No, I was about to
You
say.
okay.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I was literally about to go there. So we feeling that. We on the same vibe, bro. We're on the same vibe. No, I was going to say that word learning is what
Yes.
came to mind. So we come and we want to fill our cups. And how do we fill our cups? By learning some new things. And so there was a portion that we took questions in regards to voting.
Yes.
Do you remember that was right before lunch or
Yes.
like right after lunch?
Mhm.
But there was just questions, and I was just really I was just happy that people had questions that they wanted to learn. And sometimes, we don't want to be vulnerable to like ask these questions because maybe that's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Maybe I should know that. I don't want to ask, but this was a real safe environment, and we had some experts in the room. Kim, shout out to my line sister Kim Eubanks was in the house to begin
Baby
to help.
Bird.
Yeah, baby bird. There you go. Oh, don't be telling her business. Don't be telling her business.
I've heard
sorry.
that.
I love her.
I do too. But she was in there, and folks had an opportunity to answer questions about the mail-in, about the sites, and just everything about questions. You got a safe space to be able to answer and get the details to questions that you may have.
And I want to just say this because we talk about a day of action, continue to do things. I like to thank your sorority because every February, April, August, November, they are at Clinton Rolls. They are handling those booths. They are putting their money where their mouth is. And
Yeah.
when we talk about that, with March being, International Women's History
Yes.
Month,
Mhm.
I don't want to just thank women. I want to thank my Black queens. I want to thank the 92
Hey.
Mhm.
who always lead the way. And we talk about this within our fraternity. We always embarrass when we come to an event. And when we went to y'all Founders Day, we just look in awe. No, honestly, because
Thank you.
what you all do is you set an example, not only for the organizations, but for the community. And you do these things continue. And there's a lot of organizations that do great things. So love and respect to everybody. But I just want to thank you all for what you do on a regular basis.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
Now, there may be some people that just joined on the line, And I just want them to make sure they know what we're talking about. So can you just give the details again, the title, the place, the location, the time, all of that stuff? Can you give all those details just one more time?
I can. It's the annual Intergenerational Community Women's Day. Our theme is working on wellness, women and girls, mental health empowerment. It's going to be Saturday, March 29th, and it's at Epicos Church, which is in Sherman Park, and the address is 3737 North Sherman Boulevard. And it starts at get there at 8:30, get you a little good continental breakfast with a special treat, special spin on breakfast.
Yeah.
It is hot and warm. I'll just say it that
All
way.
right.
And you're going to love it. And we're really going to have a community session, a session for community to come and learn and embrace. So we're going to do workshops that range from, we talked about the paint and sip. We talked about having the hand touch massage. We're going to do some financial literacy. We're doing a ton of things that the community can use, and it's at no cost to the community. And we've done our best to take every barrier out because we want all women, all walks of life. It's not about the posh. It's not about the haves. It's about everybody mattering for this. And we want you there. So you got parking, you got no cost, you got we're feeding you. We're doing it all because we want you there. So please show up that day.
Yeah, I'm curious. So how do you do your recruiting? I mean, obviously, like we're on the radio now and things of that nature, but what are some of the efforts you do, especially I'm wondering about like the younger people?
A lot of what we do is on social media.
Yeah.
But we know too that that's not the only way. So we really appreciate coming here.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we will be on WISN channel 12. We'll be there getting the word out there as well, because the marketing piece is very critical, because we want the community to be involved. We know our sorors are going to always be there. We support one another, but we want the community to be involved. So we have to get the word out to them. We have flyers, so we put information out there in that regard. And I want to thank soror Alisia Moutry this morning. She brought a flyer in and put it out in the lobby here. Everybody contributes to it. So we share the information to make sure we get the word out. But one thing I also want to talk about Women's Day, as I was listening, it's really about engagement. And that's what was last time when we had the Women's Day. Everybody was engaged. It was so much joy. And right now we need joy. So I'm looking forward to next Saturday to be amongst my sisters and just really learn, but also just, to hear what they have to say, but also to, show love to one another. We need some hugs, Yeah, there's a lot going on. The climate is not the best right now, but we know that we have survived even worse than this, and we're going to get through this. Because Sunday, the message was, we're going to get through this.
Yes.
We're going to get through this.
I want to also say thank you to our, we will have vendors.
Okay.
And you asked how we get that word out through our community partners. Our community partners are so critical to this work, agencies that are around and available, Department of Aging, Alzheimer's Institute, MCW, Serenity. We have to admit and we're thankful that our partnerships make this go too. We cannot do this in a vacuum. And so as much as we want to be in the community, we have to be a part of the community. And we depend on those partnerships to help us get to folks as well.
Hey, listen, I know we're coming close to the time where we had to do that, but I just want y'all to give one nugget for the people before we go. Something quick, 15 seconds.
Something you want them to learn and get from being able to attend Saturday.
And I think it's actually in the theme. It's empowerment. Information and strength is empowerment. And that's actually one of our goals with our strategic plan is the empowerment of women and girls. And so that's what we're focusing on, that empowerment piece. But that's what I hope everybody walks away with something, but maybe that they're empowered to make better decisions, to know what's available to them.
Women empowerment. I love it. You're listening to Nyumba, Upendo on WNOV 860 AM. Join us on the other side. We love you, Milwaukee. listening to the Nyumba Upendo Show on WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. I am Kweku, Alisia, your host, chilling with Byron and Jermaine, and the co-host with the most, Dr. Alisia Moutry.
Thank you so much.
She just shining because it's a sorority sister.
I know they just left, and just shout out to both of them, Madam President SHARON Williams, GINA Green Harris. Amazing job. They were here just talking a little bit about the working on wellness, women, girls, and mental health empowerment. So they're having a community Women's Day. It's going to be at Epicos Church on Sherman Park area, Saturday, March 29th. It's going to go from registrations at 8:30. The program will go from 9 to 4. Free food, free parking. That address is 3737 North Sherman Boulevard for all ages 9 and older. So they're going to have all kinds of stuff. I believe it's free. No, it is definitely a free opportunity for everyone. And they're going to have just like everything from painting to massages. And I understand that they were in the hallway trying to do some other things too. Tell me about that.
This is what I love about the voice and whatnot like that. So the next guest that we have on, Sister Vanessa Minor, she is the owner of Collective. Is it Collective? Counseling and Consultation, LLC. She is a therapist in the area, and they were just talking about maybe even collaborating. That's what I love about this space and what they talk about community, because they was just saying we want to do more with mental health. And when I was able just to introduce them, it was just this natural synergy. I thought they already knew each other the way they were smiling and laughing. But no, Vanessa, I'm so happy to have you on the show. When we started talking about counseling, oftentimes people will ask me like, hey, if you can't counsel, can you give me somebody else? And so that's like 95% of the time. So I'll go on this site called Psychology Today. And so I'm always looking up my friends and trying to get names. But I kept seeing this one face. It's this lady named Vanessa Minor. And I say, oh, I'm going to send her. And then she'd be like, I'm not accepting clients. I'm not accepting clients. And when you hear that, that lets you know like how good they are, how busy that they are. But then when we got a chance to talk, I understood why she was so busy. Young lady, and it was another thing. It's like we have a mutual friend. It was her sister, and that's my sister over there too. Just FYI.
For real.
We had worked on the Bucks together, and so it was her sister Whitney. It was so crazy. I never would have known. But with all of that being stated, as we started to talk, it was her heart and her compassion. She's worked in multiple places, looks very young, but she's worked in multiple places, has so many different things going on. And then what I love and respect about her so much is after working inside of the system for so long, she said, let me do my own thing. And anybody who puts out that shingle, so to speak, like that, lets you know. But what lets you know how good it is not only did she do it for herself, but she made it where other people could join. And then her staff is so multicultural. Sometimes we hear that in the name, but we don't always see that diversity represented within the staff. So, Vanessa, I'm gonna stop talking for you, let you kind of speak to yourself and whatnot like that. Why don't you tell the people before we get into your clinical practices, just a little bit about you, where you're from, what kind of inspired you in school?
Okay, we're going back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
So I was born and raised in Milwaukee here.
Okay.
I'm product of NPS.
All right.
My sister and I actually went to French immersion.
Oh.
When they were on the South Side.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Parlez-vous français? Un peu?
Oui, un peu.
Okay.
So, I'm really thankful for that too, because it just really exposed us to other opportunities. And so I went on up through the NPS system and graduated from Riverside.
Okay, that's almost second, third best.
Yep. So I graduated from there, and from there I went to Marquette's, and some life stuff happened, and so we took a little break from that. I had
because life happens.
Life happens, and so I had a daughter. Amani.
Beautiful.
And that kind of really just put myself in gear. I knew in high school that I was interested in going into the field. High school, that's a hard time. And, I was able to navigate some things and pull myself, I guess, so to speak, from my bootstraps without necessarily having the support.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like piqued my interest into the field. But again, life happened. And eventually I was able to finish my undergrad degree, but it was more of like a personal goal as opposed to professional. I thought it was really important for my daughter to see that success. And so So that was that. And, I was in a totally different field. I
Yeah.
was working at Northwestern Mutual. They call it Mother Mutual at the time. And I was doing pretty good. And
Yeah.
I thought, I could be successful here. And that's that.
And what did you graduate with? What major?
And was it Marquette?
It was psychology, and I graduated from Marquette.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So on and off, that happened in 2011.
Doesn't
So,
matter.
wow.
You got
Yeah.
it done.
Yeah, we
huh?
got-
Got her
we got
done.
it
And so
done.
what moved you from psychology to Northwestern
yeah.
Mutual?
So, well, I needed a job. So the whole
Yeah.
time I was working,
That
and
part.
so
Yeah.
I had some experiences with that and thought I would be, in that field. And then 2011, fast forward, by this time my husband and I had
Yeah.
married, and
Congratulations.
Then we had our son Braden.
Yeah.
He was 13 years old, and Braden had gotten sick, and
Mm.
so it just really had me rethink of like, what am I doing? I could
Yeah.
be successful in this company and I guess rise through the ranks and stuff, but I really didn't feel like I was connected to my purpose. And so
Mm.
that
That's huge.
experience, actually, I watched a movie, had me crying.
You
and
got
all
to tell
this
us the
stuff.
movie
Now,
now.
yeah.
It was For Color Girls.
Mm.
It was the movie that I watched. I know there's a whole book and
Yeah,
play
yeah,
and
yeah.
all the history
You
of
did
it.
the
but
Tyler Perry.
I did the Tyler Perry version of it, but
What was it? A specific scene or a specific
all of it.
character?
It's all
Okay.
trauma,
Yeah.
trauma. So like, again, I think that was just the push. It was a specific scene. It was a part where the mother, after she lost her children, Felicia Rashad came in and said, you can either lay down and die with these kids, or you can get up and do something about it. And so that was the part that I'm, again, crying, all this stuff. And so I had originally applied to Alverno during the time that I
The
was on
Harvard of the
maternity leave.
Midwest.
Yeah, that's where I got my my master's degree from, and I delayed that until the fall, or till the spring, and then the fall, I was like, I just need to do it. And so my husband and I worked it out, and
All right.
I got
Yeah,
that.
make it happen, right?
Yeah, and so I guess it never was a vision to start my own business. I've been in corporate, and so that's what I did for a long time. And then pandemic happened, and then things became untenable. It was
Yeah.
nearly impossible to try to navigate both of those things. So I think that really propelled me into this space where a vision that I had before I got my job in corporate healthcare came back right around full circle, and that kind of pulled me into private practice.
Well, so before private practice, I know you had worked in some places. Tell me where you worked at and what were some of the things that you did there that would eventually give you confidence to know I could do this on my own.
Yeah. So I joke that I worked at all the major healthcare systems except for Freighter. So far, I was running out if it didn't work. But I started at Rogers. Actually, it was Wheaton Franciscan first. It's Ascension now. Through my internship, kind of supporting them through the emergency room and getting people admitted into inpatient, which was really just such a rich experience.
Yeah.
And then moved into Rogers, where I worked in outpatients with an intensive outpatient program. This is where people go several times a week. To get additional support. And I was working with adolescents that had substance use
Okay, so
issues.
that co-occurring.
Yeah, co-occurring. It's hard work. And then eventually I worked for the state for a little bit as
Well, everybody
I
said
was
the
everywhere.
state.
I worked at the state. I was working with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation.
Okay, DVR. Yeah.
DVR is a great organization for folks that have disabilities that need support to be able to get connected with employment. I was working for a Promise Grant with families and stuff like that. So eventually I made my way over to Aurora, where I worked almost 7.5 years there. And so I started in an intensive outpatient program too. And I've always been interested in just leadership. And so I took on a lot of informal leadership roles. And when I, fast forward towards the end, when I was kind of speaking to my manager and leadership about my goals and told them about my private practice, they allowed me to drop down to part-time, put
Okay.
me in another position where I was supporting other clinicians that were working on their post-grad
kind of give you a
hours.
supervisory
We're doing
expenses.
supervision. And from there, I kind of did that part-time and then left for a little bit and came back for a bit. And this last year is when I just have 100% focused on practice, which has shifted drastically since 2021. When we
So I
started
got a question for you. So I'm thinking about sometimes people, they know exactly what they want to do and they get on that pathway and they get right there. Some people, what I'm hearing your story is similar to mine. I wasn't sure. I did a little bit of this, did that, went here, worked there. I was good at this, I was good at that. And throughout that journey, I started to understand like what were those key things that I enjoyed doing. And what were those things that let me know that I was supposed to be a facilitator, trainer, coach? And so my question for you is, as you've done these different things, you went through, as you said, all of the healthcare, you went through the state, you did some things. What were some of those key things that happened or experiences that happened to let you know that you were supposed to get to this private practice component?
Well, I think part of it is, so throughout my career with all of these different positions, one of the things that really helped me to stay grounded is to remember why I was there in the first place. So I always thought about like, why am I here? But I think, story of my life.
Soft
Speak up.
voice.
So I think the thing that moved me into my private practice, it was discomfort. And so when I could no longer, I don't know, just go back to that place of like, why am I here, to give me the motivation to keep going, is when I knew it was time.
No, that's so
to
big
move
because so
forward.
many of us stay in places where we know like that expiration date has expired.
That is such a good point. How long did that take, though? I'm just curious. Like, talk about this journey, because sometimes people they see you all polished now with all. How long was this journey?
I think the discomfort journey has been all along. It's just me learning to listen to it.
There you go.
To listen to that this ain't for you anymore, and to have the courage. And the other part too is I just want to say I've got a wonderful support system, and
that's important.
Makes a difference.
Without them, I wouldn't have been able to. Because
because there's so many different other variables where people say I want to change, but because of A, B, and C, I can't. So when I'm looking at this now that you are kind of in that spot, I know it's not all roses and everything. It's got some difficulties, but it being yours, what is the joy that you get every day waking up and doing your thing?
Okay. So I want to actually, if it's okay, tell you about my practice and how it evolved.
Yeah.
And so collective counseling was an idea that I kind of, I don't know, drummed up in my mind probably 5 years before the actual leap. And when I got the outpatient job at Aurora, the
seed was planted.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need that anymore. I got this stability and all that stuff. But throughout that time at Aurora, there have been so many times where I would work with people and they would see me and they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you." You know what that means, and so, the way that they do things is you call a number and you get on somebody's schedule. So you really don't know until you see the person. And so with the company that I worked for, they were the second largest employer in the state, second to the state of Wisconsin. And I'm like, this is an issue. I really, as far as I'm aware, I was the only Black therapist in the outpatient for the majority of the time that I was there. There were other folks that were in other roles, but not in an outpatient setting. And so collective counseling is intended to have providers and clinicians that represent the populations that we're working with. I think it's so important. But also the beauty of that is like my clients that I've worked with, they're so diverse. So it's not just one, but I think it's just like this, I don't know, I say it's kind of like having like a sticker on the window to say all are welcome here. That just allows that comfort. So we have a diverse set of clinicians, and I'm so proud of it. My staff, I also get to continue in that leadership role and supporting my providers that are working, that are new graduates, new to the field, and developing their own practice. So that's my favorite thing right now, is to make sure that they're supported. The environment that we're working in is psychologically safe. Because also being in the system, so that's another reason. That's how I knew it was time to go.
Psychological safety is big.
Yeah, when that was no longer aligning. And so those things are really important to me.
So I'm listening to you, and you have this diverse staff. Of somebody's listening and say, okay, we have a diverse staff, but like, what are the things that you treat? So like, so many people go through so many different things. What are some of the if you want to say like the lines of areas? I hate to say diagnosis because we're bigger than that, but somebody say, I'm struggling with this or I'm struggling with that. What are some things that they can get at your clinic, at Collective Conscious?
So a listening ear, somewhere that's safe. I think so many people, and especially in our community, think it has to get really bad before I'm reaching out to help. And
come on.
And honestly, I think sometimes it does, before that's what happened
before
with me.
We will.
Like trying to make everything work. But so is that we're going to meet you where you are. We're going to respect your background, take it slow. But also one of the things that we've recently been moving into more in a more intentional way is getting our clinicians trained in different trauma based treatments. So trauma doesn't have to be these big things either. It could be, I don't know. I was talking to my daughter about her fear of spiders. And I was like,
arachnophobia, that's a real thing.
Yeah. So like it could be that, or it could be just anything that's really getting in the way.
Let me pause you for a second, because you listen to social media and everything. This is a little off script, so just go where you go. I've been listening to people, and they've been talking about, and this is Black people. They was like, and we don't need no trauma therapy. We don't need no therapy. In fact, it was like people done got so soft nowadays. You don't need this. It's like just basically man up, woman up, and quit complaining about stuff. It's life. Move on. What is your answer to that? And I know that's kind of like a loaded question, and I'm gonna give some insight on it too. But I'm just curious, is your thought being a clinician and then hearing people say that therapy isn't as necessary?
I think it's misguided. And I think it's probably coming from a place of misunderstanding of what therapy is supposed to be. So it's not a weakness. And I'm just so thankful that I think that the message is shifting. The stigma is shifting a bit. I mean, it's still there.
But we're breaking the barriers down.
So I think that again, it's misguided from a lack of understanding what we're doing. No,
and I think one of the things we don't do a good job as therapists is seeing what therapy is, because when you come to therapy, we can't solve 100%. That's not what it is. And so when you come, you say, okay, can this help me in a portion? And I think what I tell my sons, I said, it's the strong man that can ask for help. If it's something you can do for yourself, you do that for yourself. But when it comes to the point where you can't do it, or it makes sense to have somebody else to help you with that, we'd be silly not to. So when we talk about having a coach, when we talk about having a teacher, we have no problem with having that type of training and understanding. But because of the stigma sometimes that's attached, I think that's where some of it goes. So that misguided point you say is so big. So let's say somebody is listening to you now and they say, okay, well, I'm going to come. What might a therapeutical session look like, or a treatment program that your clinic gives out look like?
And are they all the same, depending on who comes to the door?
That's a great question. So the first thing is that all of our clinicians offer consultations, a free 15-minute consultation.
Oh, there go that word again. Hold on. We're gonna say that again. Now, how would they get in contact with you if they wanted to do that free consultation?
They could log into our website, which is, I don't know if you want me to say www.collectivewi.com. And there's tons of links on the website where folks can log into our portal, pick which clinician that they may be interested in working with. And the reason why we do this is because part of the therapeutic experience is the relationship that you have with the provider. And so in this consultation, you get an opportunity to just kind of share what people are going through. And then the therapist on our end, we talk about, the business stuff. Do we take insurance? Which we do. Are we a network? But we also get to talk about how we believe we might be able to support them in the thing that they're bringing to us.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point too. I know some personal folks that have gone and tried a therapist, and the therapist and the person did not click at all. So I don't think they've even approached it. I know they're listening. I don't think they've approached it again. But I'm just curious about how do you handle that type of a situation?
Where people have had a bad
Well, like
experience.
say for instance, I
Yeah.
come and I sit with you and just for because it is about a relationship,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And sometimes we can meet people and we just vibe with them right away.
Yeah.
And there's some people we meet with just something about that person. I don't even have data, I don't have facts, but I'm just not
Right,
feeling
right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
my question is, how do you what would your suggestion? Because I know somebody again listening right now
Mhm.
that they wanted to work with a therapist, they met with the person, and for some reason it just didn't work. They didn't
Yeah.
vibe. So what would your recommendation? How would you handle that from this point on?
Yes. So when I'm meeting with my clients for the first time, one of the things that I always encourage them is give them the opportunity to think about if they want to proceed or not.
Okay.
And they want to think about it. But I said, if I am not the right fit for you, I encourage you
Yeah.
to continue that journey because this work that we're doing is so important. And so, yeah, it could be anything. The vibe, I don't like how they're looking, the room, any of that.
Pop that
And that's
balloon.
all the stuff is okay.
You're gonna bring all the therapists out. You can pop the balloon, but no, I say that jokingly. But that's what it's like. If you don't like your general doctor, you don't stop going to the doctor. You find
That's a good point.
one that
right,
fits.
right.
If you don't like this grocery store because how they treated you, don't stop going to the grocery store. It's that same thing. But I think that's that easy out because of the stigma that's attached to it.
Do you mind talking about? I know you've got a lot of therapists, but I'm going to give you an opportunity. Maybe I don't know if you don't want to say their names, but just talk about it. And then what is their specialty?
Oh,
Talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
Give us some
I
give us
love
some highlights.
that. Yes, absolutely. So the reason why I'm not taking clients anymore is because I'm supporting my clinicians with building up their practice. So we've
Awesome.
got, I'm going to start with I'm going down so we've got Barbara Bartline. She is also licensed as a nurse. So every therapist has their own little bit of
Yeah,
style.
I
the way
love
they
that
approach
intersection, though,
stuff.
from the physical to the
So
mental.
she's a licensed clinical social worker. She's been in the field for over 40 years. So she's got a lot of experience.
So we got some experience.
Yeah, so she's working with a lot of our clients that might have either family members that are dealing with health concerns. She also offers trauma focused treatment. So she's great. She's wonderful.
That was Barbara.
Barbara, yes. And then we have Clayton Sims. Clayton is or Clay. He goes by Clay. He is dually licensed as a substance use disorder counselor, and so he likes to take on a little bit of a real dig deep kind of guy and go under the surface. And so again, that's where that relationship, are you guys to go there kind of thing. And then we have Bianca Boyd. Bianca
What's
is
up,
lovely.
Bianca?
She did training with us on mental health first aid, which was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And so Bianca is really interested in working with women specifically. Also women that are experiencing any kind of like postpartum type of issues. We're going to be doing training, getting her trained up on peri-mental health, which essentially is postpartum type of things.
And
that's real. And that's real.
Yeah. And so she works with a lot of moms, folks on relationships and things like that. And then we have Ana Mendoza. Ana is bilingual. However, she's not quite ready to offer that service in Spanish just yet. But again, we were working on getting us trained in like the therapeutic language for that. She supports young adults, college students, also those with trauma. And then last but not least, we have Kai Wynn. Kai is non-binary. So she goes by she, they pronouns, and they are supporting a lot of our LGBT clients, historically marginalized clients, communities. So
wow,
But listen,
that time was
my
perfect.
goodness, that
was so fast. Is it time? Oh
my goodness. So listen, Milwaukee, we got to cut out for one more break. So I want you to join us on the second end. We're listening to Vanessa Minor. She's giving us all of the details on therapy, dealing with not just women's health, but from a multicultural perspective. We'll see you on the other side. Nyumba, Upendo, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM radio. end of the show. It's our time. No, it really ain't our time. It's about to be time for Sharpton. And you know he coming in and right on time. So Vanessa, we just want to give you kind of like the last words to be able to tell the listening audience again who you are, what services you provide, and how people might be able to reach you, and some nuggets, some gems for them to live by the week.
Okay. So if you are listening and you're interested in working with any one of our clinicians, please go to our website, and that is collectivewi.com, or you can call us. We'll, if
And what's that number?
technology isn't it, 414-367-9155. You want to talk to me, extension 2, and I will get you set up with someone. But also, I guess the other thing too is that maybe this is your sign. If you've been thinking about it, give it a try. It doesn't have to be with our organization. You mentioned psychologytoday.com. That's another way where you can filter through and find, your insurance, what kind of issue or support you might need. If you want male, female, race, all that stuff. So,
and it's a 15-minute free consultation, so you can't lose with it. What's the words you want people to know to inspire them as we go through these turbulent times today?
Hang in there. Yeah, I think there's other side to it, even if we can't see it. And so I think that's that, and it's okay to feel and to be human. There are no shoulds or shouldn'ts. So yeah, I think that's that.
Hang in there. Dr. Moutry, why don't you again remind us of Sister Sharon and GINA's great talk earlier today?
Absolutely. A little bit earlier, we had Sharon Williams, president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Milwaukee Alumni Chapter, along with Gina Green Harris. They were on talking about this Intergenerational Community Women's Day. It's going to be held Saturday, March 29th, 2025. Registration's at 8:30. The program will be from 9 to 4. It's at Epico Sherman Park, 3737 North Sherman Boulevard. Free breakfast, free parking. The lunch will be served, and it's for all ages between 9 and older. And so we're looking forward to having folks out once again.
Hey, what can we say? Milwaukee, we love you. And what we want you to remember is this: go seek therapy before you need therapy. Yes. Sometimes people wait until it's so late. So just again, be proactive about your mental health as you are your physical health. And I just like to leave you with the words of my maternal grandmother, Daisy Mae Carcaham.
Yes.
The best way to heal yourself is to help others. So go do something for somebody else today. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Welcome to Brother Al Sharpton next on NOB. We're laughing, Jermaine.